Hi, I'm JT Natstead, Junior Instructor for Kit Builders, and I'm here today to teach you how to make a hovercraft. Here are the supplies you're going to need. A 4-foot piece of plywood, 2 foam pipe coverings, a 4-inch PVC pipe with mount, duct tape, plastic wrap, a large flat Tupperware lid, a bolt, a nut and 2 washers, 4 small screws, a staple gun, a drill, and an X-Acto knife. Let's move on to step 1. The objective of step 1 is to cover the outside of the 4-foot circle of plywood with the foam pipe coverings. You'll need your 2 foam pipe coverings, your circle of plywood, and your staple gun. You start this step by taking one of the foam pipe coverings and without removing the plastic, put one end onto the plywood. And you'll take your staple gun and staple that end on to the plywood. It might take a few good staples to get it to stick. Then you'll wrap the rest of it around the circle of plywood. You'll find it's easier to get the kids to work in partners on this one. Just opening up the plywood and wrapping it around. Then you'll take the staple gun and put a couple of staples in the opposite end of the foam cover. Then you'll go along the sides of the foam covering and put another staple about every 4 inches. All the way done with the first one, you're going to want to take the second foam pipe covering and repeat. Once you're done stapling the foam pipe coverings in, you're going to start peeling off the inside layer of plastic and discarding it. Notice how there is a layer of plastic on both sides, and you'll lightly flip the piece of plywood to get the other side. That's the end of step 1. The object of step 2 is to cover the entire bottom and most of the top of the body of the hovercraft with the plastic wrap. For step 2, you'll need your pre-cut length of black plastic wrap, your staple gun, your duct tape, and the hovercraft body. First, you'll lay out the black plastic wrap on a table, and then you'll take the hovercraft body and put it face up on the plastic wrap. Next, you'll fold up sections of the plastic wrap and use the staple gun to staple them down until you've done the entire thing. You want to put the first layer of staples about 2 or 3 inches away from the edge. This step is a good learning experience for the students. You can let them use the staple gun so that they can get to know how to use this equipment. Here's we've run out of staples. To reload the staple gun, You just pop out the bottom piece and drop the staples in. As you're stapling, you want to be sure that you're pulling the plastic so that there is no slack before you staple. Once you've stapled all the way around, you're going to take your X-Acto knife and carefully cut a circle about 6 to 10 inches away from the edge. Make sure that only the instructors are using the X-Acto knife, as it can be a dangerous hazard to students. Then, once you've done that and cut the plastic to an approximate length, you want to go back in with the staple gun and tighten it all back down. Never have too many staples. Once you've stapled all of that down, you're going to take your roll of duct tape and just take sections about this long, give them to the students, and let them place them on the edge of the black plastic wrap, like so. Duct tape to the entire outside of the plastic wrap to ensure an adequate seal. You're going to want to feel along the board and find the hole that came pre-cut in the wood. Once you've found it, you're going to take the X-Acto knife and cut a square around the circle. It's okay if you cut some of the duct tape you've already laid. You want it to look like this once you've cut the square out. Then,
you don't want to cut through the second layer on the bottom, just the square on the top of the plywood.
Then you're going to take the duct tape and do just like you did before, covering any area of the plastic where air may escape, only on this top layer. You don't want to put any duct tape on the bottom. When it's done, it should look something like this. That is the end of step 2. The object of step 3 is to attach the large plastic Tupperware container to the bottom of the hovercraft. For this step, you'll need the pre-assembled hovercraft body, the large plastic Tupperware lid, the bolt, the nut, and the 2 washers. You'll start by taking the bolt and flipping the hovercraft body over. It helps to put a piece of wood under the body and hold it in the air. And then you're going to feel along the bottom until you find the hole that was pre-drilled in the top. And you're going to stick the bolt through. We do this simply to make a small hole in the plastic. Then you're going to take the bolt, the washer, and the Tupperware lid. You want the inside of the lid to be pressed against the hovercraft. So you're going to stick this through the top of the lid. Then you're going to put it through the hole you've already made in the hovercraft and flip it over. It's good to have a partner hold the lid on the back while you take the second washer and the nut and just hand tighten the nut until it pushes against the washer. It doesn't have to be very tight. Then, I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and cut around the lid small rectangular holes for the air to escape. Like so. At the end of step 3, be sure to close your X-Acto knife and lay it face down on the table, because if you leave it open, it's just an invitation for kids to come play with it and potentially hurt themselves. That is the end of step 3.